everybody. Welcome back. It's Steve Fretzin with the Be That Lawyer podcast. I hope you're having a lovely day today. We are back every week, twice a week, to make sure you're getting everything you need to be that lawyer, someone who's confident, organized, and a skilled rainmaker. Oh, I ran out of breath. I got halfway through it. I ran out of breath. It's organized, confident, organized, and a skilled rainmaker. That's what I was trying to get out. I'm going to try breathing and see if that works better. How about that? Is that a pretty good idea, Mary? Breathing?
Sounds like, it's always a good idea.
All
Oxygen
right.
is very useful.
Yes, I'm going to try that moving forward for the rest of this interview and see what happens. Always happy to have you guys checking out the show. And again, if you're a fan, please tell people about it. Give us a kind review on your phone, Amazon review, or not Amazon review. Oh, wait a second. I think my brain's fried. It's an Apple review, for crying out loud. All right. Well, it is at the end of the day. My father had a thing. His brain didn't work after 8 p.m. I think mine might be at 3 p.m. So there you go. But I've had like 8 meetings today. So we're going to get through this and we're going to have some fun, even if it means that I'm going to be a moron or a monkey for a little bit. That's okay. Let's start off with our quote of the show. This is the famous Mary Angelou. People may not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. That's been like a show oldie but goodie. We love that quote.
Oh, other
Yeah.
people love her as much as
I
do.
think it's a pretty popular quote. I don't think you're alone in appreciation of that particular quote. But why is it? First of all, welcome to the show, Mary. Welcome back. This is your second, I think your
Thank
second
you.
time. And
It
why
is.
is that? Why is that quote so near and dear to your heart?
Well, the first thing is I got to see Maya Angelou in person at a Legal Marketing Association conference about maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I started reading all of her books and her poems and her quotes. And I think it just rung true with me. It rang true, sorry, with me, because it's true. You remember how people made you feel. You might not remember the details of a conversation, but if people are rude to you, it doesn't matter what they said, you remember that.
Yeah.
The person who's rude to the waiter, no matter what they say to you, you get the sense. So
Yeah.
it's genuine.
I think I remember more bad things than good things. Maybe that's just the psychology of it. Like if somebody's like super rude to a waiter, like you were saying, that might be much more memorable to me than someone who was like extraordinarily generous or nice to a waiter, just as a random example. I don't
Right.
know.
But I would notice that too, so
Okay.
how people treat each other. But I think it's just the concept of having when you're with someone and they're connecting with you and ask and care about you, you just remember that feeling much more so than the specific topic, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
agree with Miss Angelo. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. There we go. So everybody, we're here with Merry Neitlich. She's back for a second time. She didn't get enough of me the first time, so she said she's got more to say, more to share, and I agreed wholeheartedly. She's the founder and managing partner of EM Consulting. So give us a little bit of your background again, just to remind people kind of where you are in the space and how you're working with lawyers and law firms.
Sure. Well, I've been a law firm marketing consultant for almost 30 years. And I kind of got into it when there wasn't even such a thing. Lawyers were just able to start advertising. And because I was a marketing professional ahead of time, it helped me to help the lawyers who were just really struggling, even with things like, if I switch firms, how do I take my book of business? There was no advertising or marketing, and it was reputation of the law firms. And so things have morphed, and it's for me, the excitement has been how everything has changed over the years, because websites came out, then branding, and then lawyers scoffed at that, and social media, lawyers scoffed at that. Now I think there's a general acceptance that genuine relationships are really important, but the visibility raising things to enhance that are really important as well.
Yeah. How much advertising has changed and marketing has changed. My father, the late great Larry, the lawyer Fretzin, put an ad in the Chicago Daily Law Bulletin with his partners when one of his suite mates died at his desk, and they just said, "Hey, we're going to take a half a day and memory of this fallen comrade and whatever." And he got cited. He was like, they basically, the ARDC was notified and all that. So things have changed quite a bit, where now we've got the billboards and the TV and the radio and everything in between. So it's an exciting time for lawyers to be able to really, get out there and hustle to build business. And we're going to talk about that. So, but let's start off with why lawyers suck at marketing and branding, and I don't mean to be rude, but they're generally pretty bad at it. So what's your take on that?
Well, the first piece is that most of them don't understand actually what branding can do or how it can differentiate. A lot of lawyers think having a tagline like excellent, experience, wisdom would be a great tagline, but that doesn't differentiate them from the person who cleans your pool or the person who's the plumber. So, understanding that branding is a deep dive. When I do brand development with a law firm or a lawyer, individual lawyer, we spend literally hours answering questions that I ask to really understand how they practice, what they do, how they deliver services, their practice areas, how they interface with clients, and pull together something that's quite unique and differentiating. Because
Yeah.
then you take to social media, blogging, your website, and that brand is on every single page of everything you do. It's not just a slogan, right? A tagline is actually a differentiator.
So it's the lack of ability of them to come up with something unique or different about themselves or their firm that's that's probably a big part of their issue with doing excellent branding.
Well, that's an interesting question, Steve, because it's a different expertise. I'm an intellectual property lawyer, but I'm not a brand specialist, a lawyer might say. And a lot of times lawyers, have that marketing genius mentality where we can come up with a tagline and they just pull together these words that don't really differentiate or have meaning for them.
Okay.
Recently, in branding and doing a new website for a law firm, ARC IP Law, they are so unique and different in how they deliver their services and their experiences and the kinds of things they've done and the publicity they've gotten. And that was not evident at all in their old website. It just was very bland and blah, blah. And
Yeah.
now it's filled with rich examples.
And does it come down to two? I mean, my take, and I'm no branding expert. It creeps into my world here and there that it's not just about what makes them unique. It also has to also match with what people care about. So if I say that I've got something really unique about my business, but no one seems to care about that uniqueness, it doesn't impact them or make them feel good or make them feel like they want to do business with me. So how do you pull the two together? Because people can say they're unique because they do X, Y, Z, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to connect with the audience.
Right. Like I make great pizza, so I'm a good lawyer.
Right.
Well, to be very honest with you, my process is called turning the telescope, and we look inward into the firm and the person. We don't look at what the marketplace says. We look at how they differentiate, and it's to attract the kind of clients. So we're about to launch, for example, a new website for a 40 attorney firm here in Orange County called Ferruzzo and Ferruzzo. And it's an old firm and their old brand was rooted in relationships. But since those gentlemen retired that were Ferruzzo and Ferruzzo, they're a completely morphed firm with more practice areas, the way they involve their clients in the process of developing solutions, and they educate their clients. And when you dig deep into all that, that's throughout their website, throughout their social media, their blogs, you get a crystal clear idea. So we didn't go to clients to say, what are you looking for? But we rather find out how they differentiate and the way they deliver their services. They don't have extensive onboarding processes. You talk right to a partner. Those are things that they do. And because of that, they attract clients looking for that kind of connection.
Yeah, it's what those their clients care about, and it also matches up and what they're actually producing.
Right.
Okay. All
Some
right.
people brand by looking at the marketplace, right? Like, what does the marketplace want? But that, I don't feel that that really captures the essence.
Mm,
That's how we do it.
okay. Okay. So is there some confusion? And if so, can you dispel obviously people get, business development and marketing confused. We're not going to go down that road, but you have marketing, you have branding, and then you have like what you said earlier, a tagline. How do you sort of define those and differentiate between those? Because people could say branding is marketing, a tagline is branding. Like people are using all these buzzwords that may not be accurate as far as how they're actually being used for a law firm or a law firm's website and their outbound, content.
It's a great, it's a great concept and a great question. I define it very simply. Marketing is everything that you do when you're not face to face. So it
Okay.
could be social media, it could be delivering a speech, it could be the business development is after the speech when you get face to face with people.
Right.
So marketing is trying to raise visibility and reinforce what the brand stands for through various mediums. And business development is when you connect and get one on one. So, for example, I might call you, Steve, and get a quote for an article that I'm writing. Well, that will help raise visibility, but it's also business development because I have now contacted you about this entertainment area of the law, and people get to see what you do, and you're now feeling good that I included you. I had an opportunity this morning to do this. I got a call from a reporter. They needed some quotes for private equity. And one of the clients I was working with are just experts on this, and I got to connect them. And so I wasn't doing it as a business development thing. They're already my client, but it sure reinforced the relationship that I was like, oh, they would be perfect for you
Yeah.
to interview. And the client's happy, the reporter's happy.
Yeah. That's more client loyalty, right? Developing more loyalty through excessive giving and beyond the matter at hand. So that we've got the definition of marketing. What about branding? What's the definition of branding from your standpoint?
Branding is just creating a clear differentiation
Okay.
that depicts what it is that you stand for and what you do. That's why I say I don't look out to the marketplace. I look into the particular firm. So I can give you a concrete example.
Yeah.
A lawyer, his name is David Wood, retired from an AmLaw 100 firm. And the last 2 years of while he was working to retire, his law firm, Barnes and Thornburg, had a process where the compensation allowed him to spend 2 years transitioning that business to the next generation of partners, making those partners happy, keeping the clients happy, because it wasn't like I'm leaving tomorrow, here, start working with, Joan. And he decided to turn this into a business, and how he's now consulting with law firms to help them successfully transition, because law firms have a great deal of issues about doing this. They kind of, well, we can, if Mark retires and his clients don't come, we'll get new ones. Well, it's getting to the point where we need to keep those clients to continue to grow the firm.
Yeah.
And so his brand is about how to do that. That's what he stands for. We spend a great deal of time refining. He delivers the how of succession retirement, not just the, yeah, you should do this.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. And then the tagline is something catchy that
Finally, the how of succession retirement.
okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked for that.
Yeah.
Right, that ties that together. So the taglines are meaningful, right? You know what he does when you look at that tagline. He's not just yet one more consultant saying you should have succession planning, because there are a lot of consultants that have been talking about succession planning for years. He's the only one I know of that's differentiated, that says, I'm going to show you how to do this. Clients are starting to demand it. And so he's helping these law firms get ahead of the curve. They want to know what happens, if you get hit by a bus or somebody retires unexpectedly, and you're like, the clients don't want to start looking for a new firm, a new lawyer. If they like the firm and the lawyer, having this process in place ensures business continuity.
Yeah. So a firm makes an investment in finding a brand, working with you, figuring it all out. But how does that actually drive revenue? How does that make them money? Because ultimately that's what they're going to want to know.
So the way it happened for David Wood, for example, was once the press got a hold of this, in this past 10 months, he has been written articles for American Lawyer Media, 4 other major national publications. He's been invited to speak on 5 podcasts, and it's snowballing, because we got that message out to the community and to the reporters and to the publications. And now he's getting clients because they're seeing, he got a phone call just out of the blue because people have seen his work written. He's using a lot of social media, specifically LinkedIn, and involves, managing partners, general counsel, gets quotes from them, and is really talking about it in a different way than it's ever been spoken about before. So he's getting business because of that.
Okay. So someone creates a brand or has some help creating a brand and it doesn't do anything for them. Like they put the time and the money and the effort into it, and it's not working. It's not getting them the traction. Why not? What are they missing that we haven't talked about yet? Because I feel like there's something more that needs to come out. You can't just like, if you build it, they will come. There's more that you have to do.
Oh, oh, that's a brilliant way to put it. And a lot of law firms do build it and then no one comes.
Yeah.
So you have to connect the two. You have to connect the brand with your marketing. As I said, that's everything you're doing to raise visibility,
Mm-hmm.
but also with your business development efforts. There has to be a connection. And a lot of times lawyers just get a fancy tagline, but they don't do anything with it. It's about thought leadership on social media. It's about understanding that blogs are not just, my partner spoke at this conference, but give me some information about what's different in employment law, what's happening. How do I know you're an expert? So, and then again, involve clients, referral sources, and other experts in the industry so that you can tie other experts with yourself. Advertising can be helpful. Google AdWords used to be helpful, but not so much anymore. Things are morphing and social media is morphing. If we have a chance, we can talk about that. But it's understanding how to integrate social media with the content and be that thought leader. You can't just have the tagline and say, why is the phone not ringing? And I get asked that question too many times.
Well, I don't have a problem segueing into what law firms need to do and lawyers need to do to take advantage of a great brand that they've built and created. So social media, obviously I'll just bring me into this for a moment. Podcast, books, articles, videos, right? All these things that I'm producing that's the marketing, right? That reinforces the brand, the Be That Lawyer brand. Okay.
That's
Or
exactly
the
right.
Fretzin brand. Yeah.
You do a great job of integrating that. You bring in professionals, other people who are experts. You don't say, I have all the answers to every aspect, but I teach classes, I teach you how to market, and then I coach you. I understand your brand so clearly from other consultants. And it's a matter of tying all of those pieces together. That brand it's why I'm saying a brand has to really be a differentiator, and then you have to live and pay off that brand with everything.
Yeah.
And
So
as I said,
it's got to be it's really got to be something the firm or the individual lawyer buys into and takes action upon. It can't just be, hey, I built it and now just, again, waiting for the phone to ring. So, what's the play? How do people get started developing the marketing around the brand?
Well, I think it's very simple. I think you have to decide that you're going to have a lot of brand ambassadors in your firm. So you're going to have other lawyers in your firm that understand the brand and have a plan so that if the firm makes a post on social media, that the lawyers know they can repost it with a comment or a thought. If somebody is speaking at a conference, it's fine to promote that, but talk a little bit about that content, tie it into it. As I mentioned, social media is changing. AI has impacted social media, but what I don't think most lawyers understand and most professionals, service providers, is AI content in and of itself. I think a lot of us are like, you have to kind of edit it and make it custom. But what's happened now, this big shift that's just starting to happen, is a very few high level social media people will tie in your blogs with short form videos, which are very popular. And they then use AI statistics and analytics, not to write content, but to see who is it impacting. I've used these words in this blog or in this social media post, and we've got this audience. And it's not just necessarily LinkedIn anymore. It's Instagram and TikTok if they want to do that. So you have to understand, I mean, going into the details of how social media marketing has changed is really important. And I can connect you with this gentleman right now who's doing this and making tremendous inroads. So you want to build that trust. It's kind of like the adage we have in provisors, know, like, trust, and refer, but doing that through marketing, through social media marketing and interaction with clients, and using AI to figure out which of these phrases, which of these words, which of these pieces of content are what people are actually really looking for. Google AdWords used to be very productive. I have a client that was getting a lot of business from Google AdWords, their family law firm, Not so much this year because they
Mm,
keep changing it. And short form videos are now in, meaning 10, 15, 20-second videos that are vertical. LinkedIn, for example, is really promoting that. So you have to stay on top of the changes and you have to stay true to your brand.
yeah. And I'm assuming that there's a number of obstacles to success. One of them is probably going to be apathy and lack of action. But what are you seeing as the reasons why people aren't successful building a brand and marketing it?
uh, Inconsistency and
Okay.
apathy and busyness. So lawyers are
Yeah.
very busy, and so
Yeah. Are
sometimes you can
they? Are they
supplement.
though? No, they are. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone
Well,
is, I mean, one's busier than the next. It's like you're wrangling kittens.
right, and I completely understand that, but you can have workarounds. You can have people help you to write some content for you or get interesting articles to supplement, but nothing takes the place. So this particular gentleman I was alluding to, who is doing this new type of marketing on social media, spends an hour and a half interviewing you. He sends a halo light and microphones and gets all this information and uses it, and then uses AI to figure out what to promote, and uses the same content in different ways and edits these videos with keywords and logos and branding information. So things are morphing and changing. We can't just sit back and say, I'm going to have my marketing person, write all our social media. And if a lawyer is willing to spend that hour and a half being videoed, we can use those short form videos in a new way to pay off the brand, to pay off your expertise, and then use AI to figure out how we're building trust with certain words and make sure we continue. That's what shifted. So it would be a less time consuming initiative for the lawyer. They just have to do that initial series of interviews,
Hmm.
and then it takes off. It's
Yeah.
remarkable. And
I,
it's
I
been
love I love the concept, and I'm doing that a little bit for my clients where I'm just taking like a quick 15-minute interview, create 5 or 6 clips, shorts for them, and just say, hey, you're afraid to post on social media. Let me help you with this. It's not complicated, like you keep saying it isn't. Let me ask you a few good questions about what your clients love about you. What are the top 3 questions you get asked about personal injury? And just and we'll break it up into pieces. There's all kinds of automations that do that for you, so it's not high in the editing. Like you don't have to spend a lot of time and energy on editing, and it's good enough. Like it's not nothing has to be a 3 camera shoot anymore. It's just what's good enough. Um, but I
right,
think, but
right.
I think it's just getting started is probably half the battle for most lawyers.
It's overwhelming, I think, for most lawyers, and they are busy. And so
Yeah,
finding these kind of workarounds where you can,
yeah,
as you said, repurpose the same
right,
content.
right.
It was really interesting. One of the things that's really taken off, and we both know David Oates, who's a crisis PR professional. David does his short form videos walking while he has his phone maybe on a stick,
Hmm.
and you see the street going by as he's walking. But it's not just him, but that kind of thing really is getting rewarded on social media, and those posts are getting
Yeah,
tremendous interaction and engagement. You have to look, you're posting. If no one is engaging on your post, LinkedIn or other social medias just drop it. They don't see it that often. But if you start to tag people and engage people, and if you're getting engagement and increasing engagement, they will boost your posts, and that also helps to drive clients, revenue, and
yeah.
referral sources.
Maybe I should just bring my cute dog Rocky like up to the camera, and just every time I do training for lawyers, I just bring my dog into it. He's super cute. And then if they're cat people, I have Tootsie. So I've got both the dog and the cat people covered. Um, but let's wrap it up with one more question, which is really around the lack of improving and keeping up to date on the brand and keeping up to date on the marketing. And I'll just give you a quick example and let you work from there. Talking to an attorney the other day, his website's as old as dirt, and I made a comment, not just because I'm nosy, I guess. And I said, he goes, well, I really don't want any business from the web, from Google or whatever. And I said, yeah, but what about your brand, about your, being a professional and being seen as a professional? And he was like, oh. Oh yeah, I guess it would be a good thing. He didn't thought about it that way. He just thought the website's for Google people, when in fact I'm giving his name out and everybody's going to go to his website or his LinkedIn and they're going to see, is this person the real deal or not?
I completely agree with you. An old or outdated website, first of all, in search rankings, will not pull up because if the technology is outdated. So if your website is more than 3 or 4 years old, you might want to think about getting a new one.
Yeah.
Literally 3 to 4 years. I've had clients that have had 15-year-old websites, and you remember what those look like.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, most of my clients are not, I'm not looking to, advertise or get SEO so people come to my website and hire me. No, but it's the reinforcement.
Yeah.
You get introduced to somebody. Forbes tells us that 68% of all people will go to your LinkedIn profile before your website bio.
Mm-hmm.
So at least optimize your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
And then, yes, have this website be filled with content, with fresh content, short form videos, little bits of information.
Yeah.
So people come to check you out and they see that you're a player. A lot of people forget to post articles that they've published or interviews that they've been on. They just don't even think of going back to the website and updating it. But updating can be helpful unless the technology is so old that the search engines don't even really give you much credence.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where we're going to kind of wrap things up. Let's talk about our mutual friend, Steve Lashansky, with his game-changing book, The Ultimate Sales Revolution. He's such a big part of Provisors in our coaches and consultants group that you and I both enjoy. Talk to us a little bit about that book and why it's your game-changing book.
Steve Lashansky is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And his book gives specific ways that engage people and provides questions. When Steve goes into an organization, he has a conversation with the top 3 professionals, or if it's a corporation, the executives, and he asks them, what do you think are the top 3 goals of your firm or your company? And they're never the same. And so he always starts there with a strategic alliance, getting everyone in that law firm to make sure they understand where they're headed, what's important to them, what practice areas, how they distinguish their expertise in any particular area of law. And the book is just filled with detailed information that you can take home immediately, use to create better alignment within your firm and better messaging.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, shout out to Provisors and Steve Lashansky. And as we wrap up, thanking our sponsors, Rankings.io, and of course, Get Staffed Up. And Mary, if people want to learn more about you, they want to talk to you about helping them with their law firm brand, what are the best ways for them to reach you?
Well, they can certainly reach me at Merry. It's Merry at emconsults.org. Or they can welcome to call me at 949-260-0936. I'm old school and give out my phone number. And also I'm on LinkedIn, and you can always message me on LinkedIn. And even if you just want to have a conversation, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for being a 2-timer on the show and coming on and sharing your wisdom. I mean, every time we speak, I feel smarter and learn something valuable. And I think, we'll continue to collaborate together, but just appreciate you and appreciate all you do for the legal community.
I appreciate you and your expertise as well. And your podcasts are just fabulous.
Well, so, thank you. Thank you.
And maybe I look forward to be.
I was going to say, maybe not the beginning when I couldn't speak. I had to get it. I was having some struggles at the beginning, but I think we found our groove.
It was like the Tin Man with the oil can.
Yes.
Loosen up the joints.
Oil my brain. Put some oil in there in my ear. Well, anyway, thanks again. I appreciate it, Mary.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for spending time with Mary and I again on the Be That Lawyer with Fretzin podcast. We are rocking and rolling for you to be that lawyer. So take care, everybody. Be safe, be well. We'll talk again very soon.